Someone who has carried too much eventually sits down, on a bed, on a bus seat, on a cold bathroom floor. The place doesn't matter, the moment does. They don't sit because their body is tired. They sit because something inside them finally gives in. Not loudly, not dramatically, just quietly, like a structure that has been holding weight far longer than it was meant to. If you've ever felt that moment, even once, you know it doesn't feel like breaking. It feels like folding, a soft surrender where the heart whispers, I can't hold everything at the same time anymore. People who've been through too much understand this silence in a way others never will. And the strange part is, you don't realize you've become that person until life makes it obvious. Someone looks at you and asks, how are you so calm about things that should upset you? And you don't know how to explain that it isn't calmness, it isn't peace, it's numbness. The kind that forms when the mind has been stretched past its limits for too long. It's what happens when emotions have run non-stop without rest. Most people think resilience is strength, but for those who've been through too much, resilience feels more like instinct. Something you learned because there was no alternative, and because of that, you carry something others feel but can't name. A quiet weight behind your eyes, a depth in the way you listen, a pause before you respond, as if every word is being carefully measured. You learn how to compress your emotions, how to tuck them neatly into corners of your mind. You learn how to keep moving forward, even when everything inside feels chaotic. And here's the paradox. People who've been through too much often look wise, calm, mature, put together. But if anyone could step inside their inner world, even briefly, they'd realize this maturity wasn't chosen. It was demanded. Some people grow because they're supported. Others grow because life never gave them the chance to be young for long. When you've carried more emotional weight than your body was built for, your mind changes. Psychology calls part of this emotional overcompensation. When the nervous system is overwhelmed repeatedly, it rewires itself, not elegantly, but urgently. You become hyper-aware, you brace emotionally, you expect problems even when nothing is wrong. If you've ever wondered why you overthink, why you notice tone shifts, why you prepare for situations that haven't happened yet, this is why. Your brain learned that uncertainty wasn't safe, so it built defenses without asking you first. And even as you heal, those defenses don't disappear. They remain quietly, like old foundations beneath a renovated house. People who've been through too much carry an invisible education. They can read silence. They sense tension before it's spoken. They move around conflict like someone walking through broken glass. They know how to calm others while their own heart is shaking. They know how to shrink themselves when attention feels dangerous. They know how to recover quickly because falling apart was never an option. These aren't personality traits. They're survival skills. Automatic emotional programs built into the nervous system, often early in life. Studies in developmental psychology show that prolonged stress reshapes the brain. It becomes more alert, more reactive, more sensitive to patterns others miss. People call it intuition, but often it's not intuition. It's learned awareness born from necessity. There's a softness in people who've been through too much, a gentleness that comes from knowing pain firsthand, not conceptually, but personally. And that softness is often mistaken for weakness. But softness doesn't come from easy lives. It comes from difficult ones, from learning empathy the hard way, from understanding that everyone is carrying something unseen. This creates a strange contrast. You become the one who comforts others effortlessly, while rarely being comforted yourself. You know how to offer warmth because you've known cold. You know how to hold space because no one held it for you. But beneath that empathy lives exhaustion, not the kind others notice, the quiet kind you carry alone, the kind that doesn't push you to rest, but to withdraw, the kind sleep doesn't fix. Only understanding does. You become someone who can hold everyone except yourself. Someone who helps others, but struggles to ask for help. Someone who gives clarity while living with unanswered questions. Not because you don't trust people, but because your mind learned early that depending on others was unpredictable. And unpredictability once meant danger. People often wonder why those who've been through too much become fiercely independent. But that independence isn't confidence. It's protection. It's armor. They learn to self-soothe, self-analyze, self-correct, not by choice, but by necessity. From the outside, they look composed and capable. Inside, they're sensitive, tired, quietly overwhelmed. This duality shapes everything. They learn to hold contradictions, open yet guarded, kind yet distant, present yet detached, hopeful yet cautious. They don't avoid vulnerability because they fear closeness. They avoid it because vulnerability once came with consequences. So they open slowly, carefully, layer by layer, not to manipulate, but to survive. And here's what no one tells them. Nothing about them is broken. Their caution makes sense. Their depth makes sense. Their reactions make sense. Adaptation isn't damage, it's intelligence. The mind tells stories. And when someone has lived through too many hard chapters, their story becomes complex. Their emotions deepen. Their inner world becomes layered. And despite everything, there is something quietly beautiful about people like this. They love deeply, even if quietly. They notice small kindnesses. They value peace because they know chaos. They appreciate sincerity because they've seen the cost of pretending. And above all, they continue. Not because they're unbreakable, but because they've already been broken and stood back up anyway. There's wisdom that only comes from surviving yourself. Maturity that forms without guidance. Self-awareness built without instruction. They carry these things like unwritten chapters of a book they never planned to author. And yet, beneath all that strength, there's still a part of them that wishes life had been gentler. Not perfect, just kinder. A version where they didn't have to grow up so fast, where their nervous system didn't learn to brace for impact, where being strong wasn't mandatory. Still, they move forward. They show up, they evolve, they turn pain into understanding, and experience into insight. They become people who others seek for calm, clarity, and honesty. People who listen without judgment, people who understand without needing every detail, because they know what it feels like to carry emotions without language. Slowly, they begin to notice something. Life doesn't hit them the way it hits others. Excitement feels muted. Panic barely touches them. Their mind is always ahead, preparing, predicting, protecting. At first, they think this makes them strange. Later, they realize it's simply residue. They feel deeply and detach when needed. Not because they're cold, but because their psyche learned balance. This emotional duality shapes relationships. They hesitate before trusting joy. They analyze safety before relaxing. They love carefully, loyally, quietly. And when they react strongly to something small, it isn't about the present moment. It's about old echoes stored in the body, so they stay quiet. They smile through discomfort. They keep their storms hidden. Ironically, they become anchors for others. They hold space. They give clarity. They absorb emotions not meant for them. And that turns them into healers, often exhausted ones. Their exhaustion doesn't scream, it whispers. They grow quieter, their presence softens, they slowly step back. And when asked if they're okay, they say, "I'm fine," not because they are, but because explaining feels heavier than silence. Yet despite everything, they carry quiet strength, not loud strength, enduring strength. They've survived emotional winters. They've rebuilt themselves more than once. They keep hoping, they keep loving, they keep choosing connection, carefully, bravely. They don't just experience pain, they study it, they learn from it, they transform it, they become patient, empathetic, understanding. They forgive not out of weakness, but awareness, and they carry invisible grief for versions of themselves they never got to keep. That grief shapes them, making them intentional, gentle, present. They cherish small moments because they know what instability feels like, and slowly, quietly, they grow. They learn boundaries, they learn self-worth, they learn how to open again without losing themselves, because they are not defined by what happened to them. They are defined by what they became afterward. They aren't damaged, they are adaptive, insightful, emotionally rich. Their mind isn't a battlefield, it's evidence, evidence of survival, of growth, of depth forged through difficulty. And maybe the most beautiful truth is this: people who've been through too much can become lighthouses, not because they shine constantly, but because they understand darkness. They turn pain into perspective, perspective into wisdom. And if you are one of them, know this: you didn't just survive, you evolved. And that evolution, even though it came from pain, is now your quiet power.